What's up, crypto universe? This is me, Eugene Tay, and you're watching us on Rock the Block Daily News. First up, Wanchain headlining news today. Alpha 3.0 is a go-ahead ahead of schedule. Now you can check out on the link that we are providing below, where you can go and register to be part of the Alpha test team. What is this latest milestone about with Wanchain? Well, it breaks down the barrier between Ethereum and Bitcoin. So Ethereum-based project or apps built on Ethereum network can now access that community in Bitcoin. For example, let's take Kyber network. Kyber is built on Ethereum, but now is able to have a trading pair directly with Bitcoin. Now this is a major milestone for Wanchain, and I'll leave it to your imagination at the amount of projects that's built on Ethereum that's now able to access the community and pool on the Bitcoin side. As you might have already suspected, this episode is brought to you by Wanchain, the world's first cross-platform solution for financial infrastructure. Now, you guys are the first to hear about this news because the news will only be released to public at 3 p.m. today. But I guess by the time you actually watch this video and it's launched on our YouTube channel, you might be a few hours behind time. But still, one of the first few in the world. So do click on the link and register yourself to alpha test this latest solution. And now back to our daily headline news for today. First up on Fuddip Fomoon is about a coin up in Malaysia that's very close to us in Singapore. So a Malaysian coin ICO project called Lavidacoin have had SEC telling them to step on the brakes a little bit while they do their investigation. Well, what's so scary about Lavidacoin is that Lavidacoin was founded by a Malaysian cosmetic and beauty guru by the name of Datuk Seri Hasmiza Othman, also known as Datuk Vida. The beauty guru is hoping to raise 1.5 billion ringgit. That roughly converts to about 300 million in USD. On the website, she calls herself the stepmother of the coin. So what does she intend to do with 300 million USD? Well, she wants to build an online entertainment channel, a payment gateway, yet another one, and a non-profit mosque. Now, I'm not aware of this, but I'm assuming that all mosques are actually non-profit. So from the looks of it, $300 million by a cosmetic guru to create products and solutions that any other people have already created, and also to fund a non-profit mosque. I don't know about you, but this screams like scam all over the place, and it's definitely a money grab. And for this one, SEC move in slapping them down and said, hold on, is actually the right move for me. So SEC, good job there, otherwise a lot of people will get burned. Well, this is not the first of such money grab cases in Malaysia. There were other prolific people who came up to create payment solutions and all that on cryptocurrency, raising so much money and then failed to deliver. Some of the other companies that were told to step down from promoting these coins are entities like DSV Crypto Club, Lux Galaxies, and VI Profit Galaxy. Now, I'm being extremely judgmental here, but hearing the names of all these entities alone screams scam to me. It's either a Ponzi scheme, a multi-level marketing scheme, or just businesses that's out to grab as much money as they can, supporting a product that has no real use case to be raising $300 million for them. On to a better news, and something a lot cooler, is Spacemesh. Now, Spacemesh has already raised $50 million in their Series A funding, led by Polychain Capital. So what's so cool about Spacemesh is that it intends to build a blockmesh operating system using listen carefully, a proof of space-time consensus protocol. Wow. Now this is a coin I bet Stephen Hawking will be a big fan of. Back to Spacemesh, and what it really does is, you know that Bitcoin has been mined heavily by rich companies that can afford farms and ASIC miners, which really removes the ability for people like us watching this at home to be able to mine Bitcoin. So what this company wants to do is bringing the power of mining back to the everyday people. So on your laptop or any devices that you have that has a CPU inside, you can now contribute to the mining processes or be part of this network. So looking away from the GPU vulnerability. Now we use CPUs on computers, and anyone who has a CPU, you can use your computer for anything, any purpose at all. Whatever power that your CPU can provide, either by on idle state or while you're using it, it calculates to create a hash rate. And now you can use your hash rate to mine Spacemesh coin. On its own, it doesn't sound very interesting because it sounds pretty much like United Bitcoin or Bitcoin Gold, who are other entities trying to move away from ASIC miner. But what's really cool, and this is where the FUD comes in, is that it has attracted other investors, big names like Metastable Paradigm, Coinbase Ventures, Bain Capital, 1K, X Arrington, XRP Capital, Danhua Capital, Electric Capital, and Collaborative Fund, and Jack Henrik. Wow, there's a lot of big names, a lot of fund houses and capital houses backing up with this project. The unfortunate thing is this project is not open for ICO, which means no public funding, no retail investors at all. I know what I mentioned before about to be careful about projects that has been entirely raised on private and not really on public. Well, with such backing, I think, and I begin to see a pattern here, is that a lot of companies is not going into the public forum to raise money because the ICO market is dead and there's a very negative sentiment right now. So a lot of these good projects are choosing instead to just work on private round funding and then at a later date release the tokens to public as a form of user acquisition. So this sort of project still makes sense to me, and I see that this might be the coming trend. So when we talk about projects that has no public funding and only private funding, you might want to take a look at the impact that they can make in the future and who's backing it up. So for Spacemesh, this is a project that I think might be an exception to my usual rule. Co-founder Thomas Afek has this to say about Spacemesh. I think both Ethereum and Bitcoin, with all the best intentions, ended up unavailable to the home miner and centralized on the other end. So our intention was to create something that will always be open to the home miner. While going about it, we also realized we can also support a very scalable blockchain which can handle thousands of transactions per second. Again, Spacemesh is not creating something that we don't already have out there in the market. But let's see how much they can make a difference with this amount of backing that they have from behind. Testnet is planned for 2019 with the first Genesis block to be mined in the second quarter of next year. In pump up dumps, let's look at the market today. Bitcoin jumped 3% in under 1 hour on Sunday the 9th before trading sideways in just under the $6,400 mark. This has been a hit for Bitcoin, dropping down from 7,004 on Wednesday to 6,004 today, with a lot of people on the internet saying, oh, bloodbath, Bitcoin is dead. Hold your horses. Bitcoin is not doing anything different that it has not done in the last 6, 7, 8 months. We see a high of 7,400, we see it drip to 6,400, touching just about 5,900, 5,800, and then going back up again. If this is Bitcoin dying, I'm not sure what it was in the last 7 months. So before you get your panties in a bunch, just relax. So the next time you look at Bitcoin going up to 7,400, instead of holding on, if you're really scared, you might just want to sell it off and make a bit of money before it goes down again. So this has been a pattern, and I don't see anything different in the next couple of weeks. Ethereum, on the other hand, has been really going down the pits at right below 200, raising just a little bit past 200 to a high of 300 just a few days ago, but still not making the headway as it did late last year. A lot of the ICO projects are still cashing out. Most of these projects took the Ethereum funding from people, liquidated them, and then didn't really raise new money. No new money coming to the market, so we're not likely to see Ethereum making a big jump anytime soon. In Mediasizing the Regulators, you know your favorite exchange, ShapeShift, where you could log in, or rather you don't have to log in or even give your information to trade. Now all that is going to change. ShapeShift have created or launched a new membership program, and sooner or later this will be made mandatory to all their users. I suspect that ShapeShift have been hit by regulators and they are now forced to move towards a playing field where they have to have AML and KYC just to be in business. This sparked a very vocal outroar from the crypto community who love ShapeShift for what it stands for, and in one very prolific speaker by the name of Andreas, and we spoke about Andreas a few weeks ago or maybe a few days ago, he has this to say. Very disappointed in ShapeShift for implementing KYC. just goes to show that any centralized entity will be pushed in that direction, which is why Lightning Network, atomic swaps, and decentralized exchanges are the only way to resist surveillance economy. Shapeshift will be issuing 1 billion Fox tokens to drive this service, and if you are one of the first 100,000 members to sign up and give your particulars, you receive 100 Fox tokens. Now the catch is, of course, you have to release your particulars in order to enjoy these airdrops and free money, if you will. So what is it going to be? Will free money entice you to give up your anonymity? Will you stop using Shapeshift altogether? What are your thoughts? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Many in the Bitcoin community have also speculated why the drop in Bitcoin happened was because of a news that was published by Goldman Sachs, who has decided to abandon its plan for a Bitcoin trading desk. The reason for them abandoning the Bitcoin trading desk is very much have to do with regulations and paperwork, because when you are a regulated bank and you try to have Bitcoin on your trading desk, the amount of legal work, the paperwork that you have to go through is insane. It takes months and lots of effort and costs a lot of money. And for that, Goldman Sachs said, nope, we're not going to do it. So CEO Lloyd Blankfield has made a statement on Twitter saying, still thinking about Bitcoin. No conclusion there, not endorsing or rejecting. And this is where the important line comes in. Know that folks were also skeptical when paper money displays gold. See? So what he's trying to say, if you can't read into the lines here, is that people are skeptical about Bitcoin now replacing fiat currency. But remember when fiat currency was replacing Bitcoin, or rather, fiat currency was replacing gold. So the same kind of sentiments is found in the market today, where people are looking at Bitcoin with a, is it, maybe, could it be? But look at where fiat is today and look at where Bitcoin might be tomorrow. And then again, in another interview, he backpedaled and said, Bitcoin is not for me. And that he was unsure whether it would succeed in time. And yet, now, later on we hear Blankfield coming out to say that all this report are fake news. So the question is, will crypto price just surge back up as much as it did in the last few days? It sounds to me that Blankfield has been pressured by somebody in a higher power to stay away from Bitcoin or to give a negative outview to Bitcoin, as we have seen what MasterCard have done and JP Morgan have done. So are there really powers behind the scene pulling the strings as puppet masters to all these people in power, trying to sway them from moving away from Bitcoin and still stick to the fiat currency? Could Goldman Sachs just be another victim of this conspiracy theory? Next in the news, slightly closer to home, Philippines Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, plans to issue draft rules for their domestic cryptocurrency exchanges within this month. We see that following up with what already Thailand has done for their crypto exchanges, releasing out rules and news on how exchanges can function in Thailand. So Philippines are now doing the same as well. So the plan that Philippines has installed for cryptocurrency exchanges is to recognize them as certified exchanges where they are functioning similar to remittance and money transfer firms. Also, if you were to look back at some of our older daily news where we talk about a Stockholm exchange called Bitcoin Tracker 1, where they were providing a BTC ETF already for US citizens. Now, we might have to take responsibility for this one, because ever since we released that piece of news, SEC has been working on this angle and has now released an issue to ban Stockholm Exchange or BitTracker 1 for servicing US citizens. Sorry about that, guys. In the official news and order by SEC, it states that there was confusion amongst market participants based in the US as to the nature of the financial instruments as the reason for them banning Stockholm Exchange or US citizen for buying into Bitcoin Tracker 1. But there's hope just yet in the news that are coming out of Iran in founders and use chain. Iran is looking to cryptocurrency markets to avoid the financial pressure from sanctions by the United States and its allies. Not many of you may have realized this, but Iran already have their own national cryptocurrency, also called the petrol. That's the same name as the one from Venezuela, but it does a different thing. So the petrol cryptocurrency is pegged to Iranians' oil supply and revenue generated from the oil market. Iran is also moving to recognize crypto mining industry within their central bank, and whether the US like it or not, it will begin its own cryptocurrency mining operations. The plan is to use cryptocurrency to smooth trade between Tehran and its partners inside and outside the country. The flurry of crypto activities in Iran is definitely going to cause a flurry in the Trump administration. We're seeing somewhat a similar move that Iran is pulling off with Venezuela and Zimbabwe, with their own country coming up with cryptocurrency solutions to bypass all these trade sanctions and the death of their own fiat currency in this country. Now, the problem that Iran might be facing with trying to implement cryptocurrency in Iran is that there are not many Iranians that is really involved or picking up cryptocurrency at all. Only time will tell how this would work, and we wish them all the best. Payment provider TransferGo has announced plans to launch a remittance channel between India and Europe using Ripple. TransferGo stated that it would be able to replace the multiple slow incumbent communication system, most prominently SWIFT, where transfers can take up to 3 days. As we all know, cryptocurrency is almost immediate. One of the reasons for using Ripple is that there's a high uptake of Ripple in India. TransferGo also hinted that this is just the start of its integration and intends to open new horizons for TransferGo to develop additional products and services. Once called Monaco and now renamed as Crypto, a Hong Kong-based blockchain startup has applied to issue Asia's first cryptocurrency Visa debit card. 100,000 customers will be receiving their cards in the next coming months, starting with us from Singapore. The company is also expecting to extend their services into money lending as well. So how it works is that if you put your crypto into Monaco or crypto as a collateral, you can take up to 40 to 60% loan. This reduces the credit risk of borrowers. Now, the only thing that the company will have to be worried about is the fluctuation nature of cryptocurrencies. So can that 40 to 60% buffer still be considered a collateral, a safe collateral? And that's all the news we have for you today on Rock the Block Live Daily News. So catch up with me again tomorrow. Like and share this video with all your friends. Don't get left behind. My name is Eugene Tay, signing out.